Hey everybody, thanks for being here. This week we're in northern Idaho on Priest Lake fishing for kokanee and lake trout. Brought to you by Corning Ford, Procure, Clackercraft, Yakima Bait, P-Line, Mack's Lure, Fishfield, Brad's Fishing, Arctic Fox Trolling Flies, Ole's Charters, Fishhawk Electronics, and Fishhang Products. Now if you want to learn how to catch more fish, stay tuned. I'm Justin Wolf and this is Angler West Television. Priest Lake in the northern Idaho Panhandle is only 15 miles from the Canadian border at its northern end, but only 80 miles from Spokane, making it a popular fishery for the region.
We're on Priest Lake here, launching out of Kalispell. We're gonna run out here and see if we can catch some lake trout around the islands. We're gonna go fish out here around Bartow, see what we can find. We got into some fish yesterday afternoon around Bartow. We've been fishing there for years. I was actually shown this spot by my grandpa a really long time ago, but it's got really good access to some deep water. This is one of the deepest spots in the lake, and in the summer during these hot months, it seems like they get up on these shelves that have this access to this deeper water that they can go to. So we'll see what's over here. I'm putting on some bloody tuna super gel. Any of the super gels work really well. They stay on the bait really well, and you can fish this for a long time, still have scent on there, and it's not gonna get the boat super messy. Like if you use oil scents, you end up dripping it all over the boat and you gotta scrub the boat down, but this stuff stays on the bait and it typically doesn't tend to get all over the boat. So it's really nice to use lake trout fishing when you're using a lot of scents. Yeah, you just use a variety. I got shrimp here and bloody tuna, so we'll mostly be running those two. And then we got a couple salmon scents too that we'll run. Yeah, we got a strip of bait on here. Night crawlers will work too. People use perch and stuff, but any kind of meat on there. The lake trout really like some sort of meat or definitely scent on the end of that hook. And then we got a little hoochie here and about a 25-inch leader to the Mack's Double D Dodger. Pretty standard setup for lake trout. Over here, Jordan's got the little bit bigger Dodger and a bigger fly. So we're gonna run a couple different size presentations and just try to key in on what they might want today. So the lake trout size is gonna be 2 to 8 pounds. We've seen a lot of smaller fish, but there's been some nice 20, 25 pound fish caught this summer too. Come early, stay late if you want a chance at the big one.
Yeah, this is my second time out on Priest Lake. It's just a beautiful spot in northern Idaho, close to the Washington border, short trip from Spokane, and just a great place for kokanee and Mackinaw, and looking forward for a real fun day.
So on this rod, it's gonna be more for kokanee. We're gonna be using the little sling blade Dodgers with about a, what is that, Zach, 18 inches leader?
18, 24, somewhere.
With a little, some of the Mack's beads and some of the Mack's blades on there. And you're gonna be trying to catch some nice kokanee. They got some pretty nice kokanee up here at times. They can be anywhere from 12 to 15 inches, and then sometimes you get some as big as 18, 19 inches, some up here. So we're hoping to find some of those bigger ones. And we're tipping it with just some pink dyed corn. It's like a white shoe peg corn. If you fish kokanee anywhere, that's what most people are using. We just dye it pink with a little bit of scents and some of Zach's secret sauce in there, I think. So.
Yeah, we got 4 downriggers, so it can be kind of hard to run 4 downriggers on the bottom for the lake trout. So we just use the back ones to run some kokanee stuff, and you can usually throw together a pretty good multi-species day with some nice kokanee, and the lake trout will keep you busy too. So we're using 20-pound mono here today. The reason I use mono on the downriggers is it's got a little bit more rigidity, so if I speed up and that Dodger starts twisting, it's gonna spin through the swivels. If you use braid, it does work better in deeper water, but if stuff starts spinning, it'll spin your braid up and it'll actually make it weaker, and it just stays in the downrigger clips better. When you're getting your rod this bent over and tight, when you put braid in your clip, sometimes it doesn't want to stay in the clip, especially when you get oil on your hands from the bait scent. It'll slide out of the clip and you'll be going down and popping it out on accident, and it'll just drive you crazy. So my trolling speed's gonna be around 1.2, 1.4. If you go any faster than at least 1.5, your stuff starts to spin. And we want a nice vertical presentation on our downriggers, so we know that we're on the bottom. If you speed up, it doesn't take much speed at 180 feet to get that ball to swing up off the bottom. You want to be within about 6 feet of the bottom, and it's a little easier to maintain at a slower speed. 1.2, 1.4 is usually what I try to target.
Primarily, we start fishing up here around mid to late April. The lake stays pretty low for a long time, so the launches are very difficult to use in the early springtime. So you're kind of mid to late April is when you can generally start fishing up here. And it's good fishing. They're shallower in the spring. They're generally spawning that time of year. So you're fishing a little bit, instead of 160, 180 feet, you're fishing, 20 to 30 feet those times of year, and generally fishing really close to shore. But generally it gets really good up here in like May and June and the first part of July. And then again late in the fall, it gets good again like in late September, October.
Putting on a nice fight.
Hopefully it's one of the nicer ones.
Might be a cutthroat.
Yeah, there's cutthroat out here too.
I like cutthroat. So there is really nice cutthroat in this lake. You can't keep them, it's all catch and release, but they are a fun fight on the kokanee. Nice kokanee?
Nice kokanee.
Welcome back to Priest Lake. I'm Justin Wolf. We're fishing with Zach Moore and Jordan Smith from Fins and Feathers Guide Service, along with Bob Schmidt of Mack's Lure. We're targeting kokanee and lake trout, otherwise known as Mackinaw. And we started off the day with a perfect example of Priest Lake's quality kokanee.
It was fighting really nice. Wasn't sure if I had a kokanee on or a cutthroat for a while, but nice kokanee there.
There's also some cutthroats here. Actually, I think next year, am I right, Zach? They're gonna open it up for keeping some of the cutthroat up here, awesome. Which would be the first time in northern Idaho in a long time that you've been able to keep a West Slope cutthroat. And you catch some pretty nice ones, so it's turned into a halfway decent fishery up on Priest Lake here for those cutthroats, so it's been fun.
So I'm gonna bend this sling blade a little bit just to give it a little bit more action. The more you bend it, the more that thing's gonna wobble back and forth. Depending on your leader length, it's good to look at it before you send it out and try to get that thing dialed the way you want it.
We're putting that double D Dodger out now, and we're gonna get it out, so then we run another one out the back. So this one will plane out so that we got a little spread. It'll pull out, and we'll get another one down on this back rod here, and then we'll be able to have potentially 4 lake trout rods out and have a little better chance at some.
I've got those numbered, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and it shows on the boat. So you make the back of the boat, and you're looking out the back of the boat, and if you have it in the one hole, it's going to take it out to the starboard side of the boat. To your left, when you're looking at the back, you put it in the 3 or 4 hole, and it's going to take it out. The wider hole you put it in, the further to take it out.
Got him?
Not feeling it.
No.
Little guy.
Little one. It's funny how the kokanee range so much here.
Got another one on the sling blade there, and we got a little wedding ring on there where we swapped out the rhinestones for a glow bead.
All right, we just got a little mini cut plug super bait, and we're just adding a little scent to it. And then we got a little chunk of meat in there as well. Gonna close that up. Put our band on it. Send her out. We got that double D Dodger. It's gonna be planing out. Far left, number 4. Farthest one out. Should plane it out pretty good, pretty far. Hopefully we'll get some fish.
Double. There you go. I don't want to be the only one reeling.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we've been catching very good numbers here, but the fish here have been a little bit better size.
Down their ways. Well, there's no doubt it's a Mackinaw.
Because it's fighting really hard.
Yeah.
That was about 2 feet off the bottom, so it was about 190, 189 feet down there. That's a deep one.
There it is. I told you guys that we should try that bill a little earlier. That didn't take long. Put that wiggle bill on there in our first Mackinaw. There you go.
Might make you guys believers.
Yeah. On the board. That's about average. I mean, the average maybe a little bit bigger than that, but that's a pretty nice, healthy one. They got a few little teeth in there, pretty sharp. You gotta be careful. They'll get a hook in your finger if you're not careful. But nice one. Good job, Bob.
Thank you.
They mostly feed on mysid shrimp. They planted them out here in the early 90s to hopefully make the kokanee a little bit bigger, and it seems like the Mackinaw benefited more from them, but that's what gives them a super bright pink meat and makes them a little bit better eaten, is the ones that eat the shrimp. Some of them eat the kokanee and they're not going to be as pink meated, and the white meat ones typically aren't as good as the ones that are on the mysid diet.
So we were trolling the sling blade, and behind it we were pulling a fly, and we hadn't got any fish. We added one of the wiggle bills, and we got the first fish of the day real quick here.
We're going back to Priest Lake, but first here's your fish field tackle connection. Now today we're trolling a variety of lures that all require leaders that can all be a real hassle to manage if you don't have fishing leaderboards. These things are great. They come in small, medium, and large, and they all fit in a particular size Plano box, which is real handy. Now this is one of my large boards. You can see I have rigged up with some very long leaders. This is a 30-foot long line leader, 15-foot main lines for my floats and so forth for long lining salmon in the Columbia River using a kayak and a sandbag. Very difficult things to manage, but not with a large fishing leaderboard. If you're not already using these, I highly recommend that you give the fishing leaderboard a shot. Just go to fishfield.com and do a search for fishing. Now, let's go back to Priest Lake and see if we can't catch some more lake trout. We're on Priest Lake, targeting finicky lake trout, but the Max Lure Wiggle Hoochie bill has produced. Now we'll make a move to find bigger concentrations of fish.
Moving to another spot, we're gonna go north on the lake and see what we can find down there. We're gonna go fish a couple main lake points. We wanna go on a little roll here. Mackinaw fishing is usually pretty fast and furious, so no, we weren't really catching them super good, so we're just gonna move spots and keep moving spots till we get on a good little run here. Seems like he's putting up a pretty good fight too. He might be a little better one. Ripped it off the clip. They don't rip it off the clip very often at 170 feet, so it's usually a little better fish.
That's a long, long, long one.
40 inches are usually 20 pounds.
Little lake trout. Yeah.
Put those on all of them.
Yeah, that chartreuse wiggle hoochie bill seems to be the target for the Mackinaw today.
It was a very light bite.
Yep, kind of finicky fish today. But that wiggle bill seems to be getting them, so we're gonna put some more of those on probably.
Just in front of a little tube fly. With that sling blade dodger. It's had all of our bites for the lake trout so far. This is that Procure shrimp. Is what we had on that one. Not very much, just a little bit. Put a little on the bait, and then I put a little bit on the bill. I don't like putting it on the fly. It kind of messes the flies up, but just put a little on there. It holds on there pretty good. And make sure it's running right and send her back down. Oh, that was the other one. I didn't get this one back down yet. It was barely tapping it too, just a little, barely wiggling that tip.
I want to feel like it's got a little more weight.
A little bit more weight to it, yeah.
Hopefully it's not a tree pounder.
No. No, and it's got a little bit different wiggle to it than the stickfish do.
It's still a light bite too. It still didn't really hit that one.
They're barely light bite.
Those were like 160, 170. It was kind of hard to tell on the 2Ds. We were just constantly checking the bottom with our downriggers, making sure we were down there. Sometimes you pick up shadows along steep ledges, so you just got to constantly check the bottom with your downrigger, make sure it's down there. The inside rods went off because we were marking them up on the hump at like 150, but our downriggers were hitting at like 200, so we ended up getting them on the inside. Next pass, we'll turn around and go in a little bit shallower. Come right up over my head, Bob.
Got him? There you go. nicer one? About the same? Maybe a little bigger.
A little bit fatter.
Nice.
Got that one on the double D and the smile blade. Nope, that's a wiggle
that's a
hoochie
wiggle
bill, the
hoochie.
little UV one. The small wiggle bill, little UV small wiggle bill.
Don't you hate when you're right, Bob?
Lightning usually don't strike in the same place twice, but we're gonna put all 4 of them on a
This setup here, we have the double D Dodger, and we got the small UV wiggle bill out in front of a little hoochie. So for setting up these wiggle bills, you could either rest it right on top of the hoochie, or if you want to cut the nose a little bit, you can actually push that down inside the hoochie and have the whole hoochie wiggling, and a lot more than just the bill.
You get 6 fish per person. There's no size limit. Yeah, the smaller ones are actually a little better eaten because they're more of on a shrimp diet than they are a fish diet. So the last couple of fish we've caught have actually been good to eat.
We've got more fishing to do, but first, here's your Yakima Bait Minute. Now today on Priest Lake, we're fishing a variety of lures trolled behind a sling blade or double D Dodger, very close to the bottom for lake trout, and that works great. Now we're getting into an area where the bottom is very uneven. Now, stay tuned, you're gonna see how we solve that problem by fishing the Yakima Bait mag lip. Now the mag lip will dive a little bit, but it is buoyant. So what happens is that lure maybe 4 or 5 feet below the downrigger ball, so you can keep that downrigger ball up above the rocks, but that lure is diving down, and then when it hits a rock, it's gonna bounce off, and it's gonna ring the dinner bell. Boy, you talk about ringing the dinner bell. When you hit a rock like that with a lure, that just drives those lake trout crazy. Similar to bass fishing in submerged trees, you work a hard bait like this with a really big bill through those branches. The big bill protects the hooks from getting snagged in the branches, and I guarantee when that lure hits those branches, the fish are gonna react. Give it a shot, I'm sure you're gonna find some success. So, there's a little trick coming up. You wanna stay tuned and check out how the Yakima Bait mag lip can help put more fish in the boat. Welcome back to Priest Lake. I'm Justin Wolf. At over 19 miles long and reaching a depth of 300 feet, northern Idaho's Priest Lake contains the variety of structure and forage to produce healthy fisheries for several species, including lake trout to well over 20 pounds. If you'd like to give Priest a try, give Fins and Feathers Guide Service a call, and also visit the Fins and Feathers Tackle Shop located in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Today we've caught some beautiful kokanee, and we've turned on a tough Mackinaw bite with the extra action of a wiggle bill. But now we're in a different area that calls for different tactics. The fish are tight-lipped and holding tight to the bottom. The uneven terrain means we need to keep the downrigger balls off the bottom.
So lake trout fishing out here on Priest Lake, sometimes we like to use the Yakima mag lips. We troll them off the downrigger and we run a little bit of weight up here. A slinky weight or a non-snag weight or a bottom bouncer or whatever you got. Then about a 6 or 7 foot leader to a mag lip. And this is gonna allow the bait to dive down and ride on the bottom, but you don't have to run the downrigger right on the bottom. It's gonna get another 30 feet out of depth. So you can cover more up and down rocky areas and fish it more effectively. You gotta constantly find the bottom. Your depth finder doesn't always tell you the truth. You just gotta constantly check it, come up 5 feet, check it, come up 5 feet. Fish on.
Bob, here we go.
Keep hitting this dang hump.
Yeah, this has been the hot rod on it, that's for sure.
Double.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Double. Triple?
Maybe. This other rod's bouncing too. So it's staying down a little bit. I think I saw a fish on it. He wrapped that other one up too.
Oh, and that one?
Yeah. But one, it still has a fish. I can feel him. We're the tangle guys today.
Hell, those fish just, when you're fishing those dodgers so close to each other.
I want to go a little slack. You want to give you slack? Yeah, just a little bit, just so I can get this guy out. Back a little bit so Jordan has someone put the net in here. There we go. But that's a mess down there, but that one was on that maglet.
Pliers?
That was on that yellow maglet. We got another one on the maglip here. About the same size. He was about average. Might have been dragging him for a while. I thought I saw a bite earlier, but then it started bouncing a little bit more, so I figured I'd just check it. Now, these are the 4-inch maglips. Another one in the boat. Yeah, they seem to like the bright colors up here, the bright yellows, the bright greens, hoochies, and even on that wiggle disc we've been using in front of them too. Wiggle what?
Wiggle bill.
Wiggle bill. Which I will be having in my boat from now on. Yeah, he wanted that one, 2 hooks.
Yeah, that one got it good there.
Hey, I hope you found today's episode valuable and it helps you catch more fish. And be sure to watch this episode again and hundreds of other episodes and helpful videos on the Angler West TV YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, without our sponsors, there is no show, so please thank them when you can. Now get out there and do some great fishing.